Good morning. We will start session 4 on chapter atoms and molecules and structure of atom. So in our yesterday's class we understood the theory about atoms and different atomic model what we understood, who are proposed and which is the one what we follow. That's about Niels Bohr. So Niels Bohr theory will again discuss it once we understand what is atomic number and mass number. So basically whenever we represent an element, we should know about its mass, that is atomic mass and atomic number. You all are very well versed with atomic mass now, right? How do we determine the mass? It is denoted with respect to 1/12 the carbon 12 mass on that basis. So few masses of a particular elements we had already learnt in the first 1-2 sessions what we discussed. Now how do we represent them? What is that mass? What does that denotes? So we know that now atom consists of 3 subatomic particles, that is protons, neutrons and electrons. When we talk about atomic number, which is denoted by letter Z, it is nothing but total number of protons present in the atom. Protons nothing but, we all know that number of protons are always equal to number of electrons. So I can say the number of electrons present in an atom. Number of electrons equal to number of protons. So atomic number denotes number of electrons in the given atom, right? Or protons, they both are the same. Now what is mass number? Denoted by letter A, also called as atomic mass. Mass number is nothing but total number of protons and total number of neutrons present in the given atom denotes the mass number of a element. So for example, if I have to talk about chlorine is an element whose atomic number is 17. That means I can tell there are 17 electrons present in chlorine, right? And it is fixed, children. 17 electrons are present in chlorine. 17 protons are also present in chlorine. What about the mass number now, which is 35. Now how did you arrive? 35.5, right? We consider 35 only there. So that is the mass number. And this is a basic representation of an element where X denotes element. A mass number should be always written on the right top. Atomic number should be always written on the left bottom. That's the way you write, the way how I have represented. We have 1 or 2 basic small numericals where a mass number is given, find the atomic number, or electrons and protons are given, find the mass, or neutrons are given, find protons, something like that. We'll see that in the numericals part when we are solving. Basically what you all have to know here is atomic number and atomic mass. Now the question is, which all elements atomic number should we remember? Like I told you, mass number around 5 to 6 mass atomic mass we had: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, chlorine, sodium, sulfur and all, right? So not compulsorily that you have to remember the mass number, children, but sometimes they tell in school that you have to remember mass, but mass is not compulsory to remember. Atomic number is very much compulsory to remember. Which all elements atomic number we have to remember? I'll discuss that in the chapter further. Now if you are done with, like if you have understood with mass, atomic mass and atomic number, we will next move on to understand that how electrons are distributed in the shell, that is by Niels Bohr what he had given, which is known as a Bohr-Bury scheme. We understand that how these electrons are distributed and which particular element in a, for example in a hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, how are the electron distribution in each of these elements, we will learn that now. So distribution of electrons in various shells, that is given by in accordance with Bohr-Bury scheme given by Niels Bohr. So according to him, what did he tell that? Does electrons, what they do not radiate energy, right? That's only because if they do not radiate energy, they will not fall into the own shell again. That was the scheme, or that was a theory given on Niels Bohr atomic model theory. How are these electrons distributed? These electrons are distributed in the shells K shell, L shell, M shell and N shell in the form of two 2n square electrons in every shell. Now what do you mean by this? Now for example, K shell is there. K shell is the first orbit, right? So n is equal to 1. L shell is the second orbit, so I can say n is equal to 2. Similarly, n is equal to 3 and n is equal to 4. Right? First, second, third, fourth. That means in K shell, how many electrons I can accommodate, children? I can accommodate 2 into 1 square, that is maximum only 2 electrons. Right? Seating arrangement. Now just imagine, you get into a bus, or yes, of course you get into a bus. So you get into a bus. What do? You go on accommodating the seats. So the condition is that you have to accommodate first row, after that next, after that next. So what you do? You go on accommodating wherever place is there. Correct? Maximum number of places. Seating arrangement, whatever is given. L shell, n is equal to 2. 2 into 2 square. 2 square is 4, 4 2s are 8. I can maximum fit only 8 electrons in the L shell. What will happen if the 9th electron will come? There is no place. 9th one has to go to the next shell. M shell. 2 into 3 square. 3 square is 9. 9 2s are 18. It can fill 18 electrons. N shell. So 2 into 4. 4 square 16. 16 2s are 32 electrons. So you can simply tell that these are the seating arrangement given. So you have only 2 electron space in the first shell. Only 2 electrons can fit. Third one will come, you will say there is no place here. Kindly shift to the next shell. It can go to the next shell. So M shell. Now how are these useful? How is it done? We will understand. But remember this configuration. Now, writing is very important, children. Usually questions are asked. Describe Bohr-Bury scheme. Usually it is asked. How do you write? And again, all these theories, models, postulate, assumptions, observations, conclusions are to be understood in your own words and languages. But you need to write as it is given in the book. Let me just read this part. What does this Bohr-Bury scheme tell? The filling of electron in an atom is done in accordance to 2n square, where n is the number of shell and 2n square represents the total number of electrons that can be accommodated in a particular shell. Exactly how you have to write it. That is, maximum number of electrons that can be filled in a particular shell. Same thing you can write as I have written here. Last, the second point is the outermost shell can't hold more than 8 electrons, while the outermost shell can't hold more than 8 electrons, while the second last shell can't have more than 18 electrons, even though they may have capacity to hold more. I'll explain this. Examples are given here. So what it means is, there is one more point here, children, third point. The outermost shell can't hold more than 2 electrons and the penultimate shell can't hold more than 8 electrons unless the preceding inner shell, that is anti-penultimate shell, is filled completely obeying the 2n square rule. See, writing part, if I read this, 0, nothing will be understood. But what is this? This is a seating arrangement, you think, how electrons will move. Now, suppose if I have the shell here, now this is a nucleus, so this is my K shell, L shell, K, L, M, N shell, right? So, now what do you mean by penultimate shell? Now for example, about this penultimate and anti-penultimate, I will teach you once I start with the elements, given elements, how electron distribution are done. Now if I explain, you will not understand much better. Simple. K can accommodate 2, L can accommodate 8, followed by 18, followed by 32. Even though it can accommodate as per the rule 2, 8, 18 and 32 in a given shell, this more than 2 it will not, more than 8 it will not, more than 18 it will not. That means I can't fill 17 electrons there, children, or I can't fill exactly 18 electrons. Remember one thing, in every shell, maximum capacity what you can fill is 8. See, here maximum is 2, next is 8. The next shell also, though it has a capacity to accommodate 18 electrons, but still you cannot fit more than 8 in that. Why that 8? You will understand in the electronic configuration when I start. Now only understand about this Bohr-Bury scheme, the 3 points what I have mentioned as it is. Last 2 more points you will understand once I start with exactly how the electrons are filled with respect to different elements and different atomic number. So very clear on this part. We'll quickly begin with the number of elements starting from right from 1 to 20. Yes. Now the thing is, which all elements should I know so that I can give the electron distribution type in the given elements here. Elements from numbering from 1 to 20 should be known to you. Now which are these elements right from 1 to 20? First element is hydrogen, second element is helium, then beryllium. It follows. Now why is that hydrogen is placed first? Why is that helium is placed second? Why is that order given? Who gave that order? You will study that again in detail in the chapter Periodic Classification in Standard 10th. Now here we only understand that first 20 elements. Even for these 20 elements to give an order, there were many scientists who came. There came Dobenas, then there came Mendeleev, then finally came the modern periodic table classification given by Moseley, who said that this is the classification done and elements are arranged in this manner. There were many people who gave their own arrangement. It could be arranged. Now basically we know that how are the elements arranged? Metals, non-metals, to our understanding, right? That was the basic classification initially given. But we can't arrange only metals and non-metals. There are so many things, properties which we have to see. Based on that, all the numbers were given, which period, which group. So now let's not break our head because that we're going to study in periodic classification in standard 10. Here we only understand the first list of 20 elements. The first list of 20 elements which are also given in your book, right from the hydrogen to the last element. What you have here is once again, let me see. Yes, and the last element is calcium. So calcium is 20, hydrogen is 1, and the last element what I am talking about is 20. Where the before last is potassium, which is 19. So we are going to study till 20 elements. That means you should know by heart all first 20 elements. Children learn that now only. Why? Because again in 10th it will be useful. If you remember, order of these first 20 elements along with their atomic number, not mass. Atomic number is useful. Electron distribution is done based on the atomic number. What do we write here? Distribution of electrons. Electrons are what? Atomic number, right? That means you should remember the atomic number of these first 20 ordered elements. Now which are those? Hydrogen, helium. The way I am reading, the numbers will go accordingly. Hydrogen 1, helium 2, lithium 3, beryllium 4, boron 5, carbon 6. Carbon 12 was what? Mass. Mass of carbon is 12. Atomic number of carbon is what? 6. Oxygen, sorry, after carbon comes nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium and calcium. Right? So let's understand how the electrons are distributed, and based on that I will explain about these last 2 points about penultimate shell. Let's quickly start about electron distribution in these various elements. Okay, now what I have done here is, all 20 I cannot do it, right? So I'll show you a few examples how to do. Of course they are also given in the notes, children, but still I want you all to do this, a very important. So you can keep the heading as the same thing, distribution of electrons in various shells. That can be given. Now, it's a hydrogen. How to draw this? First of all, what you can do here is, there are many methods. See, First is the nucleus part. You can either highlight this completely, okay, or some of them what they will do here is they will not highlight. They know that it is a nucleus. So first one small round is done and inside the symbol is written of hydrogen, calcium, whatever. It is understood that that is the nucleus for hydrogen what we are drawing. Then we should draw the shells. Now how will you draw the shells? Rough hand will not work out here. This should be done using a compass only. Circles. So first one. Which shell is this, children? K shell. Please mention that a K shell. K you can mention wherever you want, in small, big or whatever. How many electrons are there? Hydrogen, how many electrons are there, children? 1. Atomic number is 1. I have to represent 1. Where shall I represent? Shall I represent here? Represent it like this. Now you can ask me, teacher, why did you represent here? You want to represent here, here, anywhere. Represent 1. 1 dot you can mention it. And that dot should be not like this, where nobody can see. Men represent it little bit darker. Got it? Now because why I am mentioning, I have seen they will draw using rough hand. It will be something electrons according to you, where I have to search where are the electrons here actually. So please see how they are actually marked. Hydrogen is very simple. Let's go to the next one, helium. So according to this, I will just write helium symbol. Nothing else I will write. You should also know the symbol of first 20 elements. Remember that. According to me there, first shell I will draw. It is K shell. How many electrons? 2 electrons. So shall I represent 1 here? Second one. See, you can represent here also. Shall I represent here? They say, right, aesthetic value. It should look neat. Present it neatly. Does it look very neat if I do it? See, I could have also done like this. HE. It's not wrong. This is also correct. 1, 2. Both are right. But which looks neat? This looks very neat, right? Go with that. K shell. Our next is lithium. Li. First I will draw K shell. Lithium. Okay. What is the maximum capacity of first K shell? 2, right? 1, 2. Okay. It is a lithium. So 3 are there. How many electrons did I fill? 2. But third one I want. Can I put it here? No. K shell will tell I have no space. You have to go to the next shell. So that means for lithium I have to draw the next shell, that is L shell. Right? L shell can accommodate how many? Total 8. We know that. Remember that. The technique is here 2, 8, 18, 32. But actually 8 and 32 you can't fill completely. It is again 2, 8, 8 only. 2, 8, 8 only you can fill. You will understand that later, children. So it should be 3. Put 3 wherever. Put here, wherever you want. It's up to you. Count. 1, 2, 3. Complete. Now I have skipped and I have gone to oxygen, right? But what is your homework? You should do it right from hydrogen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 up to 20. I have just written 8 of them to show you all how to do it, right? I'll go to oxygen now. So oxygen symbol is O. First, one by one we will draw. K shell. How many? 2. Over. I want how many more? It should be 8. 6 more. This is L shell. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over. 7, 8. How many did I fill in the outer shell? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is the capacity, children? 8, no? 6 I can fill. Plus 2 is 8. Oxygen is completed? Completed. Come to the last. Come to the next one now. Neon. It is Ne. First shell how many? 2. K shell. Then. Okay. Next shell when I go it is 10. How many it can fill? I can fill how many? 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. L shell. Right? Let me go to aluminium. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 over. In this shell only 8 I can fill. That is L shell. K shell only 2. I filled it. L shell only 8. I filled it. But how many I want? I want 13. So 10 I have. 3 more I want. So I will go to the next shell here. K, L, M shell. How many more? 10 are over. 1, 2, 3. 13 I filled. Understanding now how to fill? It's actually very simple and interesting as well. Let me come to potassium. I just drop this part. Later we'll write. Okay, this is now potassium. Potassium is K. First shell, 2. Second shell, this is K shell, L shell. 8 let me fill first. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many over? 8 plus 2 is 10. How many more I want? Okay. According to us, it is 2, 8, 18 and 32, right? The next shell can take 18 electrons. How many more I want, children, now? 9 I want here to fill. So this is KLM shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Total how many now? 2 plus 8, 10. 10 plus 8, 18. But actually I want 19 here. That means it can take 18 electrons. Can I write one more electron here? No, I cannot write one more electron. Why? I will explain that. So, though it has a capacity of 18 electrons, it can only fill 8 because 8 is a complete octet structure. Now, what do you mean by an octet structure? Every configuration, when you have a 8 part or when you say that 8 electrons are filled, that becomes a complete structure. Complete structure means, do you remember me telling you that some electrons are very stable, they do not take part in chemical reactions at all. That means they do not want anything. See, you are not hungry. Even if I offer you food, you don't take food, nor you have a tendency to give food to somebody. That means you are filled, you have everything. You don't even want to participate into anything. Stable atoms, stable electrons, stable elements. Those elements will not at all take part in the chemical reaction because their outermost shell is filled with 8 electrons. Like that, I had a neon here. What is the last shell? How many electrons I have? Last shell. I have 8 electrons. Neon is an element, children, where it will not take part in chemical reaction at all. That means wherein all elements will take part. Aluminium will take part, potassium will take part because either they have deficit of electrons or they have more electrons. You will understand that point also better. So, 8 is a complete structure. Though it has a capacity of 18, it cannot take more than that. It has to go for 8 only. What will happen after that? It will go to the next shell. So, I have to draw one more shell here. KLMN. How many I have to draw? Only one. 2 plus 8, 18. 2 plus 8, 10. 10 plus 8, 18. 18 plus 1, 19. So, understood how is potassium done? Last is calcium. I just do it here so that if I do it 2 down, then you cannot see. Calcium is 20. So, this is calcium. First shell, 2 electrons, right? Second shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 plus 8, 10. 10 plus 8, 18. It is 20. Though it has 18 capacity, children, I can't fill, no. 8 is the last part. To make a complete structure, to make a stable atom, no, it should be always 8. Beyond that, it goes. How many? 1, 2. So this is K, L, M, N. See, that means in your syllabus, you will not go beyond N at all. This is the last part. The rules are also different, children, when you go beyond calcium, right? So we don't study beyond calcium here. Not only here, not only in your 10th standard, we don't study anything beyond 20 elements. 20 is the maximum what you study. You study them in your higher classes. So I think this is very clear. Your first work is to now draw this in your book, right? Though it is present in the notes, but still I want you all to do this in your book neatly by writing it down how I have written for all 20 elements. I have just given example for 8 elements here. That is point number 1. Second point, I'll teach you now. I have told you, I'll tell you about the penultimate shell, right? Now, this is the last shell. Here K is a last shell, K is a last shell, L is a last shell. Where I came across here, N, M is a last shell, N is a last shell, N is a last shell. In every shell, the shell before the last shell is called as a penultimate shell. Now here when I talk about K is the penultimate shell, L is the penultimate shell, M is the penultimate shell. That is what the electrons which cannot fit into the penultimate shell goes to the last shell, right? What is anti-penultimate shell? The shell before the penultimate shell. That is, if M is the penultimate shell, before that is called as an anti-penultimate shell. That's all. Don't break your head much into it. That's more than enough what you know. Yes. Now point number 2, what you have to know here is, once you are done with this, just give a look. Whatever you have, just see that how many electrons are there in the last shell. 1 electron, 2 electron. Yeah, coincidentally, helium is 2, last shell is also 2. Hydrogen is 1, last shell is also 1. Let me come here. Lithium is 3. What is last shell, children? 1. Oxygen is 8. What is last shell? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Neon is 10. What is last shell? 8. So neon is a stable element. Last shell itself is 8. Right? Did you come across any other element here? You will come with argon when you do that. So that's also last shell, you will get 8. You see. None of the elements will come here, huh? Helium has another property. I'll tell you that tomorrow's class when we learn about valency actually. Aluminium last shell, how many are there? 3 are there. Potassium, 1. Calcium, 2. Right? So last shell is very important. Now what is that about last shell? I can only teach you tomorrow if you complete this table. Now the thing is, you can think that today's class is a basic class to understand, and tomorrow's class can only be understood if this is done neatly and this is understood correctly. Otherwise tomorrow's class you will not understand. And if you don't understand tomorrow's class, you will not understand how to frame the chemical compound. So everything is based on today's class, children, to write this. It's how the continuation. You understand this part very thoroughly. Tomorrow's session or tomorrow's class about valency, you will understand it. Once you understand the valency, after understanding this, you will understand how to frame the chemical formulas. And once you know how to frame the chemical formulas, that is the base for what you study the chemistry part in your standard 10th. Your whole chemistry, your first chapter of chemical equations, acid, base and salt, metals, non-metals, how to frame the chemical equations, you will learn that right from here. So today's class is very, very important. I want you all to do this neatly. I know it's there in the book, but still I want you all to do this. Only if you do this correctly, your tomorrow's session and the further sessions will be clearly done. Right? Then, after you finish this, a small tabular column has to be done. And what you have to write under the tabular column also I will tell. So I'll erase this now. See, tabular column you already have in your textbook, but little more points I want to add in that. Once you are done with this drill, in your notes actually on page number 39, it's the same thing what I'm going to give you. The first column says name of element as it is. Okay, I'm just writing it once again. Symbol. As it is, you will fill that. After symbol, you have atomic number. And this should fit in one page only. If it is not fitting, don't write half year and half year. That also I'll tell you. If it is not fitting, use a book where you can write it like this completely. Yeah, because sometimes you can't think what to do and you write half here and you turn the page and write half. That should not be done. If it is not fitting, children, make sure that you write it continuously. Right from here you start name of the element, symbol, atomic number, shells, distribution. Use the whole book like this, right? Atomic number. After atomic number you have number of protons, number of neutrons. You can do the calculation by yourself if you want also. Number of electrons. Of course, number of electrons are equal to number of protons. I have no space here in writing, so I am writing down. Okay. The next part is going to be distribution of electrons. After this here, this part. Distribution of electrons. In that, K shell, L shell, M shell and N shell. Now for example, hydrogen does not have L and N. So hydrogen has only one. You will just put a dash. Now next comes helium. Helium K shell is 2. Then comes the dash. Then comes the lithium. Lithium K shell. Don't write the atomic number. K shell how many you are filling? 2 you are filling. L shell how many you are filling? 1 you are filling. Then dash. Understood how to fill this? You have to fill this. Yes. Next, they have given directly valency in the notes. Do not write that. I am repeating, they have directly given valency. Please do not write that. Before writing, give the heading as valence electrons. And below you write last shell. Got my point? Please do not write valency. Before valency, you will make one more column as valence electrons. What are valence electrons? We will study that also tomorrow. Last shell, you will write it here. That's all. Nothing else you will fill this. Keep this blank as it is. I am repeating that. Okay? And the last column will be valency. So, these two columns you are going to keep it blank as it is, right? Nothing. You will only write till distribution of electron, fill this. Though valency is given in the book, without knowing, without understanding, you need to understand because this is what is required in your chemical formula, how to make it. So, I will repeat, name of the element you will write, symbol you will write, atomic number you will write, protons, neutrons, electrons you will write. Continued distribution of electrons in K, L, M, N shell with respect to the elements you will write. Okay. 2 more columns you will make and keep, that is for valence electrons, last shell and valency. We will fill that tomorrow. I will tell you all how to do it. Based on what you have drawn, that configuration should be there for this. You will sit with tomorrow's session, you are going to sit with your book, what you have drawn. So we can do it together. Right? So this is your homework and this is very, very important, children. Please do it very neatly. Last 2 columns, please keep it blank. So with this, we end today's session. Please do your homework neatly and any doubt you can call and confirm me.